Welcome to Creator You.
You know what's a lot easier than building your own audience completely from scratch is piggybacking on trends and other big audiences that are already out there in the world and happening. So welcome to this training, which we are calling Steal the Spotlight, where by using this insane picture of me, absolutely insane looking picture of me, we're going to talk to you guys about how to hop on big trends that are happening online as a means of growing your own audience, of borrowing traffic and attention that's already going on for other things and using it to grow your own following, growing your own customer base, that type of stuff. So stealing the spotlight, what is this really all about, right? This is really about how you can use trending content, stuff that's already sort of popular on its own right and may have nothing to do with you, right? But to get more attention and bring more people into your world, right? So we're going to talk about how to use that to build authority, how to grow your audience, and how to feed the algorithms, right? So you hear that term a lot, the algorithm, the ever-present, all-knowing, omniscient algorithm that is behind, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all those things, right? All those things have algorithms. And what they want is they want you to give content that the audience that's on their platform is going to digest. YouTube wants more people on their phones watching YouTube videos, right? So when I say feed the algorithm, we're going to talk about this is a great, great way for you to create content that captures something that has a swell of attention going on right now and basically create content that YouTube's going to go, well, this guy's making good content. I'm going to give them more traffic and attention and spotlight, right? So first, we want to talk about the difference between evergreen content and trending content, okay? Evergreen content means something I would write today that's going to be as classic a year from now as it will be today, right? So for us at Samcar, we might something like, hey, 10 e-commerce truths for the fitness professional, right? That's probably going to be just as good a year from now as it is today. But the difference between trending content is, trending. I might date myself a little bit for those of you guys watching this video later, but AI is like everything right now online, right? So you might say, hey, 3 free AI tools that can, do your homework for you or something, right? Would probably be trending content. My gut tells me in a year from now, they'll be a lot less popular, a lot more kind of like, oh yeah, well, we remember AI. We talked about it already, like type stuff, right? So evergreen content versus trending, this is what it's going to look like. Evergreen has sort of a steady base of demand, right? A lot of people are going to be looking at evergreen type content. Trending content, it kind of comes out of nowhere, right? And has a big spike, a peak, right? And then we'll kind of, probably settle back down to levels that are lower than evergreen type content, right? So we want to talk about how to ride the wave, right? That's what this whole training is really about. How do you go out there and ride the wave and do that kind of stuff? If you're interested in the evergreen training, if you're interested in that type of stuff, and you want to, I want to make content that's going to be as relevant 10 years from now as it is a year, today, right now, then go check out the Charm Bracelet strategy. This is a YouTube strategy, but really it's great for making content anywhere. It doesn't really matter. It's not just YouTube stuff, but taught by Rocky Eula, one of our resident experts who is, an absolute pro on growing audiences on YouTube. But you can go here, take some topics, learn about how to kind of, if I want one topic to really rank highly and get a lot of views, you kind of have this bracelet and charms on a charm bracelet is kind of the analogy that they're using. Really, really sharp strategy, but that's more of an evergreen thing. So go check that one out. But today, we're going to talk about the value of trending content, okay? Trending content can get you traffic right now. It can get you subscribers right now, okay? You can insert yourself as the new, I'll take myself up here, right? Insert yourself into the news, okay? So Samcar has nothing to do with AI, right? But we just published a YouTube video that organically became like 300 times bigger than any organic video we've ever done, right? Because we said, here's 3 AI tools to write your first ebook or something like that, right? Is basically the idea. And it did incredibly well for us, right? And all that really was us seeing, okay, cool, AI is trending. Let's make some content that's going to fit inside of that trend. Think about it like this, right? If you knew that fidget spinners, right? I'm going to date myself a touch here, right? Fidget spinners were all the rage of like 2013, 2014, maybe. It's been a long time. But imagine if you were the first person to create and start selling fidget spinners. You know what I mean? That unbelievable worldwide, wave of people talking about fidget spinners. Like we talk about it a lot. You don't really become rich selling one dumb little tiny product, right? You might have done it with fidget spinners because half the world was looking for fidget spinners online, right? But what happens when it's over, right? if you join the trend when it's already kind of coming down, right? There's probably people that have boxes and boxes of fidget spinners in their garage that they can't sell because the trend is over, right? But the AI example is a great one, right? We went and made a YouTube video about AI, and organically, our videos organically maybe get to 2,000 to 3,000 views, right? And this one went to like, well, as of right now, is at like 35,000 and climbing, right? So basically, all we did was the value of trending content. We found trending things out there, and we made content to match, right? So let's take a look at an example, right? Here's a real actual YouTube channel that exists out there in the world. But this is Learn to Dodge Punches, right? Boxing head movement games. So here's somebody who's talking about training self-defense, right? And they're going to make a video here for us about moving your head, right? Here's something that could live on. This video it says it's 3 years old. It's got hundreds of thousands of views, right? That's evergreen content. It's timeless. It doesn't matter, right? If you're a boxer in 1975, you probably would watch this YouTube video if YouTube had existed, which would be an interesting thought process. Now, if you're going to take another half step towards trending, right? You say, how to dodge a punch like Floyd Mayweather, right? Now we're talking about a person, a place, a time, right? Yeah, I bet if you publish a video like this right after a big, or even right before a big Floyd Mayweather fight, right? Or maybe before, Mayweather Pacquiao or something years ago, right? Like this probably would have been picked up a little bit because Floyd Mayweather as a thing is trending, right? So it's something I want to talk about plus something that's trending, right? And then the idea of something that's like purely trending, right? Is what if you made a video that said how Chris Rock could have dodged Will Smith's slap, right? The famous slap from, I think it was the Oscars. I don't know. I honestly don't know if it was the Oscars or the Golden Globes or SAG Awards. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. But if you had made that video, right, and published within a couple hours of the Oscars finishing up, that would have been insane, right? This is not real, by the way. This is just a purely fictitious example. No one made this video, but imagine if they had, right? This is the kind of thing that trending content can help you reach way more people than are currently right now in your audience, right? As an example, again, that AI video that we went and made, right? It got picked up like crazy, like 6 days after we published it. It was kind of normal growth, right? And then all of a sudden it was like, whew, algorithm picks it up, right? Publish a ton. And we grew our subscriber count by like 11% from that one video. You know what I mean? We went from like 26,000 subscribers to like cresting 30 or something like that. Anyway, so it's a very big deal. So how do we do this, right? How do we go and look up and find out what's trending possibly before the real rocket ship? You know what I mean? You can kind of, you don't need to be the first person talking about something to make it trending, you know what I mean? But what are your people talking about, right? Number one, go to social media channels that your audience hangs out in, right? Go check out Facebook groups, subreddits on reddit.com, Discord channels that are really popular. Go pick 5 or 7 of the biggest sort of, thought leaders in your space, people that your audience is watching. If I was, for us, somebody that's like in the e-commerce world, I'd probably go find like, Gary Vaynerchuk, Pat Flynn, right? Like the Make Your First Million podcast from Sam Parr and Sean Puri, those type folks. And I'd say, okay, cool. Where is their audience hanging out? Is there a subreddit dedicated to them? Do they have Discord channels? Where can I go and just watch this audience talk about things? Where can I see, things that are maybe coming around the curve, big trends that might be the next thing up, right? Number 2, right? Other influencers. I kind of touched on this before, but the idea is basically follow those other influencers and professionals in your industry and be on top of what they're talking about, right? Go follow them on Twitter, right? Twitter is really, really good for this. Go find, again, 5, 7, 10, big time thought leaders in your space and go follow them on Twitter, right? And make lists on your phone that, you can go in and say, okay, cool. I want to hear about, my e-commerce people. I want to hear about my baseball people, like whatever that might be for you. Because usually on Twitter is where people are kind of giving their short thoughts. They're kind of making predictions for the future. Twitter's a great place for that. And it's a great place for you to get a sense of, okay, what's top of mind for the biggest names in my industry, right? And maybe then you can start writing and talking to the things that they're talking about. Tactic number 3 is to track the trends. There are tools out there, okay, where you can track these kinds of things, right? We mentioned Twitter. Twitter is probably the first one. Again, Twitter's trending tab is mostly going to be like global trending stuff, right? Twitter kind of tweaks it for you a little bit. Twitter knows that for me, I'm an Orioles fan. I like copywriting and I'm into digital marketing and I follow fantasy football or, whatever. Like that's what it knows about me, right? As basic, all of that stuff makes it sound. 70% of my trending stuff on Twitter, if I go to the trending tab on Twitter, is going to be like, what's going on in American politics? There's a new outbreak of the swine flu in Botswana. It's kind of like big time, all time trending stuff for the whole world. But then they're going to give you stuff that's trending in your world, right? They got the Orioles just signed a free agent, or this copywriting, tweet is blown up and stuff. It's you get a sense the trending tab is. We don't want necessarily like global big time trending stuff. We want stuff that's trending and that your audience really cares about. That's the sweet spot, right? TikTok is really good for this. TikTok is trending all the time. You know what I mean? Like whatever you see on TikTok, typically, you know what I mean? Like go find the videos that have hundreds of thousands of likes or hearts, or I don't know what to call it. Honestly, I can't even remember at this point, right? But TikTok does such a good job at just surfacing content, and like the moment something kind of spikes, it just shoots it up and shows it to millions of people, right? TikTok is crazy for this kind of thing, right? So you just kind of go through and, heart and like things that are kind of relevant to your market, right? Go like and heart a bunch of fitness stuff, right? Or a bunch of stay-at-home mom stuff, right? Or a bunch of, I don't know, whatever your market is, go like that kind of stuff and just see what Twitter serves you or what TikTok serves you as you keep scrolling through, right? There's not the search stuff on TikTok is kind of, it's juvenile. Like it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not sophisticated, right? Their search is not really meant to be searching. The way that you go find that stuff on TikTok is you just keep scrolling. You just keep swiping past videos and you just see what they serve you, right? And all of a sudden you might find a video about some topic that's blowing up and has all kinds of hearts and crazy amounts of likes and everything on it, right? Tons of watches and stuff. And you think, wow, okay, that's trending content, right? You might even, that might be the best way for you to find stuff that's truly ahead of the curve, is that you're going to go find videos that are liked and popular, but like TikTok just found out about it and is just making it do this. And, people aren't talking about it on other platforms and other ways, right? And the last one is Google. Google, you can even get alerts about keywords and news stories, right? And we'll give you guys some examples about how to use, it's just called Google Trends, right? Go to Google and type in Google Trends. It'll take you right there. But it's a great way for you to get like a digest, like a weekly, breakdown of say, hey, here's what's going on in digital products. Here's what's going on in marketing. Here's what's going on in the world of intermittent fasting, whatever your world is, yoga training, things like that. And you can be way ahead of the time, right? So why use Google Trends? Well, what people are typing into Google is obviously it, right? If you're talking about trends and things people are looking for, Google is maybe the best single place to aggregate that data, right? And tell you, because remember, it's not just Google and what people are typing into Google, it's what they're typing into YouTube as well, right? It's what they're typing into whatever, all of Google's properties. That's what they're emailing people about. It's what they're, whatever, and Google sees the whole playing field and brings that all together in Google Trends. Really, really powerful, right? So you can find out what people are searching on Google. You can see where they're searching from. So if you're really looking to niche down and get as specific as, I want to know what are people in my country talking about? What are people in my state or my province talking about, right? You can get that granular. And then you can get alerts. Alerts is probably the coolest piece of this, right? And something that we highly, highly recommend. Using Google Trends is very simple. We got some screenshots in here. Again, go watch some free YouTube videos about how to use it and dive in. And there's functionally, right? Google Trends might look a little different than this screenshot is, depending on how far in the future you're watching this video. So just know, high-level strategy about how to use Google Trends and why you use it is the same, right? Go to YouTube and look for what buttons do I push specifically if you watch this video and feel like you want more about how to do that, right? But it's important to note, right? Any graphs in Google Trends show interest over time, not search volume, okay? Google is not telling you 8,712 people search for how to add 25 yards to my golf drive, right? It's showing you trends, okay? It's showing you sort of like, okay, cool. Interest over time can wane and flow. I'm sorry, not wane and flow. It can ebb and flow is the right term there, right? If you need or want to see search volume over time, search those terms again in the Google Keyword Planner. Another awesome free tool from Google, the Google Keyword Planner. Again, guys, go Google that. But if you want to see specific numbers about search volume and things like that, Google Keyword Planner is kind of where you can double click on a keyword to get more data and dive in more about it, right? But we're going to talk about Google Trends. You guys can go check out Google Keyword Planner sometime on your own time. Okay. setting up trends subscriptions. So again, when I said you can kind of get a digest from Google about if I was in the golf world, right, and I wanted to stay on top of golf trends, right? What would I do? I'd go and set up a subscription, okay, and go into Google Trends, and I would basically subscribe to topics, right, that you think your audience would be really interested in, right? And then you can filter by, okay, where in the world are they? You can decide, I want this once a week or I want this once a month. And Google will just email you. They're just going to send you trends and say, hey, look, here's what's going on in golf. And here's what's going on in baseball or marketing or, whatever, that kind of stuff, right? So setting up a subscription in Google Trends is how Google is going to automate some of this research for you. And every single week, you can just get an email, open it up, and get a sense. What is trending right now, right? Make content to that stuff and really, really get picked up, right? So setting up your trend subscription, again, you can subscribe to trending searches at large so you stay up to date on all the potential news, right, at your fingertips is what it should say there, right? But if you look at this screenshot, and we'll try to like zoom in or something on this, right? The idea is basically you're saying, okay, cool. I want to look in the region of the United States, right? For me, that's what I would go do. That's my top thing. But then you have a couple of different options, and these options might change over time. But again, go to Google Trends, go see what you have at the moment in which you're watching this video. We are recording this video here in 2023, right? So this is awfully new. But again, if someone's in 2027 watching this video, right, you might have some different options. But you can basically say, okay, cool. I want to see top daily search trends. I want to see the majority of daily search trends. I want to see all daily search trends, right? We recommend doing top daily search trends, okay? Top is where you know something is trending, okay? Google has a lot of data, and if you choose majority of daily search trends, and especially all daily search trends, they're going to give you way too much information, right? We're trying to do, what's the 80-20? I want to get information at a glance, and I want to move on, right? That's the important thing. So stick with top is what I highly recommend, right? And then it's, okay, cool. How often, right? As it happens, once a day, once a week. I would do once a week here is my thing. If you want to get more data, you want to get more into this, you can always say, cool, send this to me once a day, send it to me as it happens. The point is not necessarily that I need to be the first person on the internet talking about AI, right? But Google Trends once a week is going to tell you what kind of keywords are on their way up, right? Most things don't burn out within a couple of days, right? Most big trends like this burn out over the course of weeks, maybe even months, right? And so, yeah, for you, it's mostly about, okay, cool. The most I would do is daily. How's that, right? Generally speaking, we look at this kind of stuff on a weekly basis, right? So let's talk about searching for a trend, okay? How do you know what to go and look for? How do you know what to tell Google to send you back? You know what I mean? Realistically, right? Start here, right? Look in the back, go to Google Trends, right? And type in your stuff. Type in your niche, type in your audience, type in, whatever interests and world you kind of operate in, right? And then think about news stories that you find in those results that you wish you'd hopped in on, right? So maybe you're in like fitness stuff and you think, man, that dodging the Will Smith slap at the Oscars is it. That would have been so sick, right? For you, maybe it's going to be like, man, I don't know. This is way too many things are going on in the world these days. You know what I mean? But maybe it's something like AI, right? Maybe for you in golf, you know what I mean? It would have been something like hopping on when they started talking about the LIV tour. That had a lot of search results. Maybe for stay-at-home moms, it would have been, back to school is a big trend you see coming every single year. You know what I mean? And you're thinking, I got to hop on that this year because, that's what I want to talk about. And then think of terms your ideal client is out there searching for already, right? Think about industry lingo and industry-specific terms. And this is where that kind of social media, going into Facebook groups, going into subreddits, going into Discord channels, that your audience owns becomes really important because you want to hear and capture and copy what your audience is saying in their own words, right? So you want to be the person who is speaking their language, right? If I am trying to talk to baseball players, you know what I mean? I don't want to say like, hey, I'm going to show you how to really hit a whacker, like not a baseball term, right? But if I say, hey, I want to show you how to, drive the ball to the opposite field, right? Non-baseball players, that might not mean that much to you, but that's a baseball term. You know what I mean? Speak in terms like that. We had a big company event last night. We were talking. They were like, parents speak a lingo that other people don't understand. You know what I mean? Like what was the example we're talking about? It'll come back to me. I can't remember. But you know what I mean? Like you want to be the person who is thinking that critically and understands your audience, is following them around, knows what they're talking about. so that you are searching and plugging terms into Google Trends. That's not just golf. It's not just parenting. You know what I mean? You want to be the person who is plugging more things in, feeding Google more really good information, industry terminology, you know what I mean? So that your, what you get back, what you get out of Google is that much more powerful, right? Here's how to find news, right? How to find new news using old news, okay? So how about stuff that you didn't capitalize on? How do you bring that back to life, right? How do you use that to the Will Smith slap thing is kind of old news now. You know what I mean? It's already passed. Everybody's kind of laughed at it, moved on, and whatever, which is how it should work with celebrity stuff. But this is where I want you guys to use Google Trends and look backwards in your world, right? Go look at the old trends that already happened, the news stories, the trending topics, the whatever, and think, man, I wish I could have hopped in on that one. You know what I mean? Then take that term and search for it now. Look for what's happening in a shorter window. What has been happening with the Will Smith slap or whatever, right? In the last 30 days, okay? And then you save and follow generic terms from that. You want to tell Google Trends, this ever-growing list of terms. You want to just continually add things in there, right? Use old news stories. Use what you find in the social media channels where you're following your people around. Use, the titles of the top TikTok videos you go find. Use, titles of the top podcast episodes from those influencer people that are, that you're following around. And then you just partner that with old news stories, and all of a sudden you kind of build this word cloud, right? That you're telling Google, here's all the different things I want you to use and look for, and Google's going to take it and they're going to partner things you didn't even really connect the dots on inside of your word cloud. They're going to take, longer drives and partner that with, LIV golf tour, right? And spit out trends that, and identify trends that maybe you wouldn't have found otherwise, right? So use old news to create new news. Here we go. Now let's dive into some examples, okay? How do we do this, okay? We have 5 example businesses we use a lot here at Creator U, right? These are all fictitious examples, but we're just going to walk through. They're kind of in different niches, so whatever niche you have, right? Follow along. This could be very instructive, right? If most of these niches right here will cover many of you guys, right? So let's talk about this business, right? If I ran a business called The Lift Kit, okay, and it was a fitness and training kind of thing, a rogue fitness, CrossFit type personality, right? That's the audience I'm going after, right? What would I plug in, right? Well, okay, so here's some search terms I would use. I would use workout, injury, weight loss, get bigger, gain weight. Hands down, right? If you go and you look on top YouTube channels in this world, right, you're going to find those terms all over the place, okay? All over the place. Then, okay, my version of influencers might be something like the third bullet point down, right, is like C-Bum, David Godkins, like the Liver King, who actually is kind of gone now. Liver King's kind of gone. It's not really my world. I'm obviously, I'm more dad bod than like rock hard big guy bod, at this point in my life. But I remember hearing Liver King got he was faking it or something, right? He was using anabolic steroids and he was all organic and not. Anyway, but you might go find Jeff Cavalier and Athlean X. You might go find, anyway, whatever. You'll go find these people. Go find these people who own your audience and look at their most popular stuff and use it to build your search term word cloud, right? You might even plug in gym names. Gold's Gym, LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, whatever you might plug in there, right? And this is all building your word cloud, right? That's kind of your world. Let's talk about this one. The Batter's Box, one very close to home, right? So this is, imagine a baseball training brand that you might call the Batter's Box, right? What search terms we plug in? Yeah, I might plug in something like home run, RBI, batting average, swing, better swing, curveball, fastball, changeup, strikeout, double play, opposite field, gap power, right? It's things like that I'm going to, by hunting my audience, and I'm that person, right? That's what I would build in. And then, yeah, you might plug in team names too, right? This is where you get in danger of going too broad, right? I might take it easy on something like team names, but you might plug in a few. You might plug in, I'm a big fan of the Baltimore Orioles. I could not physically write the New York Yankees without writing my own team first, so I had to do it, Baltimore Orioles. Houston Astros, right? New York Yankees. Someone goes and wins the World Series, right? Maybe there's opportunity. That's going to be trending, right? That's why you might plug in something like team names, right? Is you're going to get a sense of, okay, cool. The Houston Astros were trending. They just won the World Series, right? And I go write content that piggybacks somehow on that trend. Players' names, right? Go write down the superstars, right? Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Ken Griffey Jr., Cal Ripken, whatever, right? Go write down players and people that you think realistically. I could write content, right? If that person's name starts trending, I could find something and say, hey, here's the 3 tips that made A-Rod a rookie of the year in 98, or I guess it was probably later than that. It was probably later than that. Cool. How about this one, right? We call this one the Schoolhouse. I'll go ahead and just bring this down here. The Schoolhouse. This fictitious brand is like a homeschooling brand, right? So if we said, okay, cool. How about I'm going to train parents to homeschool their kids. I'm going to provide resources and templates and whatever, right? What kind of search terms might you use? Well, you probably use school, probably use student, curriculum, homeschool, high school, junior high, middle school, elementary, college, university, teacher, SAT, right? All those kind of things. And again, it would be your job to dive in and make that word cloud even bigger, right? What other industry type terms, what other, things are parents out there searching for that maybe aren't represented in this list, right? Maybe school names. Maybe big things are popping at in the Ivy League, and so you're going to make some content about how Harvard's name starts trending, and you're going to say, hey, here's 7 tips to get your kid into Harvard, from homeschool, right? Stuff like that. People's names is a little tougher, but this is not our world. You know what I mean? This is your job to go out and find who are the people who are talking to homeschool parents, right? Who is out there? Who are really big homeschool advocates, right? I'm sure they're out there, influencers and stuff that you could go find and do this. I put a big question mark because, again, not my world. So I don't know that person, right? I don't know that person. Have not had to entertain that idea yet, as our oldest is not yet of schooling age. Next business, Your Pocket CPA. So this is, imagine if you're a CPA service. You know what I mean? We're a remote CPA that does people's taxes and does whatever, that kind of stuff, right? What would you put out there, right? Taxes, 1090, right? 1099, right, is another thing you might put out there. Probably people who are independent contractors, 1099 employees, you might put 1099 taxes, right? You start combining these things and they become their own addition to the word cloud, right? Nonprofit taxes, business taxes, self-employment, financial scandal, audit, IRS, right? All of these kind of things. Competitors. Competitors is a great way. We've kind of talked about search terms as like a pro, right? Now, how about competitors, right? Intuit, TurboTax, QuickBooks, NetSuite, things like that. And all of a sudden, Intuit starts trending and you get a chance to say, here's why Intuit, is robbing you blind with, their TurboTax product or, whatever, something like that, right? Here's a horror story about TurboTax and why you should use, Pocket CPA instead. But you get the sense, right? This is the kind of stuff you could be out there providing. Last one is Paw Please, one of my favorite ones, right? So what if you're a dog training brand, right? What would you be out there doing? Dog need, bad dog attack, does my dog, right? That's a great, you think people are probably constantly searching, does my dog need to bark at the mailman? Does my dog, need to sleep 8 hours a day? Well, I don't know, whatever people might be taking in there. Is my dog, right? Cute dog, big dog, hero dog, misbehaved dog, puppy. Why is my puppy, right? Great one there. Great gold mine of a way of finding out pain points, right? Why is my puppy blank? And let Google tell you what comes after that, right? Breed names. You put in dog breed names, right? You probably put in Husky, Chihuahua, Australian Shepherd, Golden Retriever, right? Put in all the big ones. Or maybe you specify in specific breed names, right? But what if, a German Shepherd goes and wins, what's the big dog show? What is it? Purina? What's the big dog show? The one that's on Thanksgiving, right? It's right after the Macy's Day Parade or right before it. Anyway, German Shepherd goes and wins it, right? Why couldn't you see that trend coming with these search terms, right? And go make content that talks about German Shepherds and, whatever. In some way or fashion, you're going to be piggybacking on that trend, right? In a way that you're talking about training German Shepherds and, whatever. It leads back to your business, right? But this is how you go and build the word cloud, right? This is the kinds of things that you would go out there and find. And it's just going to take some research, okay? It's going to take some legwork. It's going to take some hard work to go out there and identify where are my audiences hanging out, right? What kind of words and lingo are they using? Who do they follow? Podcasts, YouTube channels, blogs, TV shows, magazines, right? All of those things. Who owns my readership right now, right? And what are they talking about, right? What are they talking about? Plug that all back into Google Trends, and you'll start making better content. You're just going to get a better sense of what out there is in the world and piggyback off those existing trends. So if you haven't yet, here's the next thing I would tell you to go do inside of Creator U here, right? Is go check out the Creator Blueprint, where you guys can learn how to find, research, and target your ideal customers and build a better business, get more sales, right? The Creator Blueprint is really for anybody who is thinking, I'm struggling to find out what makes me unique in the marketplace, right? If you need help outlining and laying out what is it, what product should I offer? What's my kind of unique, selling proposition? What are my big benefits that I'm after? The Creator Blueprint is perfect. It comes with a download. We walk through this thing. You basically fill in these boxes. And at the end of it, you have like a done for you business plan where you are going to stand out from your competition and have something your audience is dying for, right? Go check it out, Creator Blueprint. And then we mentioned it before, but the charm bracelet strategy, right? So you have a few topics of things that you want to talk about in mind, right? You can discover dozens of video ideas related to that topic using Rocky's charm bracelet strategy. That's more for evergreen type content. This is trending content. But with that, guys, I am Scott Moran. Thank you guys for watching this edition of another Creator U training. Dive in, go to Google Trends, type in your niche, find your audience where they're at, find people who own your audience, talk about what they're talking about, build your word cloud, right? And let Google let you know about what your next video topic should be, your next email, your next blog post, your next TikTok, right? Whatever it is that you're creating, use trending ideas, right? To piggyback on a wave of attention and eyeballs that has nothing to do with you, but your business can massively generate or massively benefit from. I'm Scott Moran, co-founder here at Samcart. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next Creator U training.